Peter made a comment that he thought someone has come to support me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm saying I don't need support from anyone.
You're a tough cookie. You don't need any support. Thank you.
I swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I will give before this tribunal shall be the truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Kindly introduce yourself, your name, and what you do.
My name's John Pile Yanagangara. I am an employee of
Just be a bit loud.
Pardon?
A bit louder.
My name's John Pile Yanagangara. An employee of Busem Limited. I'm the chief security officer, both the Yaya Hotel and the shopping center.
Right now, you have the statement. You have the statement there, dated which day?
Yes.
Confirm whether it is your statement.
Yes, it's my statement.
Dated. Volume 5, there's a bundle written volume 5. We can proceed. Volume 5, but yeah. Volume 5, just go to, from page number 12 all the way to page number 34. Who feels that information? What is that and who feels that information? From page 1, 2 at the top.
The forms are the visitors' records and the vehicle records, and they are done by security guards.
And done by security guards. Who do those guards report to?
They report to me.
They report to you. Now, all this information in terms of names and all the information, where do you get the information written here?
We get the information, they get the information from the visitors.
The visitors?
While seated in their cars.
When seated, they gave the name, so you get the name from the visitors.
Yes.
So it is not you create or your team that creates the information.
No.
Now, is this authentic or the document that came from Yaya?
Yes.
So all these names were given by who?
Pardon?
All these names were given by who?
The names were given out by the visitors.
By the visitors themselves.
Yeah.
Now, we have a clip of 15th of just pause. In that clip, who is the gentleman with the gray suit, jacket?
That's me.
That is you.
Yes.
And you are there as who?
Pardon?
Where is that? And what were you doing?
That is Yaya basement. I was at the lift area, and I was ushering the visitors to the reception, which is
And
on ground.
who is the lady visitor you ushered? Do you recognize her?
Yes.
Is she here?
Yes.
And who is that?
Irene
Irene who?
Massit.
Commissioner Irene Massit.
Yeah.
And you were the one who ushered her in.
Yes.
So you can positively identify that you ushered her in.
Yes.
Was she a guest at that facility?
I got a few information that there are VIPs
Yes.
who are arriving at the hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why you went to usher her in.
No, I just met them at the basement area.
Yes.
And I showed them the way to the reception area.
And you showed them to the way to the reception area.
Yes.
And after that?
After that, I left.
After that, you left.
Yes.
And are you aware whether she was residing in your facility?
Yes.
For
Through the records.
For how many days?
For 4 days.
For 4 days. That would be all. Mr. Donald is now yours.
John, how many hours do you work at the hotel?
I work 12 hours, but it was during the election time and we had our security plan. So I worked more hours that day.
How many entrances are there to the hotel? Exits, entrances to the
We
hotel?
have two.
So how did you know that Commissioner Irene Massit was coming to the hotel?
I was just informed by the receptionist that there are VIPs who are coming.
Or you didn't know who they were?
No, no.
What time was it when they arrived?
It was around 2. No, sorry, it was around 8. Around 8:20.
8:20 in the night.
Okay.
And are you sure you actually took them to the reception? Just be, you're under oath, John, so you have to be truthful. Did you really take her to the reception?
I took her to the reception, and then I left.
Did Irene actually go up the reception?
Pardon?
Did she go up to the reception? Are you sure she went up to the reception?
She went, yes.
So if we get CCTVs of the reception area,
Yes.
how one day you'll give us the CCTVs of the reception area? Because Commissioner Irene has never gone to your reception
We have
anytime.
given out the CCTV.
So
Yeah.
how Peter will produce the CCTV? Because she never went to the reception, she's never been to your reception, she doesn't even know where it is. So how Peter will produce the CCTV of the reception area at the right time? And then you said you left.
Yes, I left.
So you don't, what room was she staying in? Because you've been given a visitor's thing, but it doesn't say which room she was staying in. Do you know which room she was staying in?
No, I don't know, but what I know from the records, they took 3 apartments. This is apartment 27, 21.
But in John, in the records, we don't have the name of Commissioner Irene Massit in the records.
Yes.
So I want you to tell us what you know. Do you know the room Irene Massit was staying in?
No, I don't know.
Did you meet her again?
No,
After 15? You never met her again?
I've never met her again.
Had you met her before?
No.
Thank you, John.
I need you to clarify. You say that they took 3 apartments. You know the 3 apartments they took? Or they had booked?
Yeah, they booked apartment.
It's there in page 3. Which is the apartments? Are those the apartments that she booked?
Sorry, Chairman, I don't want to interject, but she's security. I mean, he's security. And Commissioner Irene Massit never booked any room. So unless he's in charge of bookings, because I doubt if he knows who booked, because I really never booked any room in the hotel. So unless he has more information. I don't know what Peter wants to elicit from him.
Believe he should have just left me finish, because I was just clarifying the area that he talked about. He asked which three, where they lived, and he said, that's all. It came from cross-examination, nothing new, Mr. Chairman. You said when you were being asked by council, and you said they booked 3 apartments. Do you know the 3 apartments that were booked?
Yes, from the records, they booked apartment 27, 21, and 23.
27, 21, and 23.
Yes.
And was Commissioner Irene Massit one of the guests?
Yes, from the records.
From the records. Now, then lastly, you said there was an issue whether you took her to the reception area or not. Kindly clarify from the lift what you did.
From the lift, I ushered her to the lift. I took her to the reception on ground floor, handed over to the reception who was on duty. That's it.
And the person you handed over was who? Commissioner Irene Massit?
Yes.
To all chair and members, we are ready to bring the second witness unless there's question from the members.
Anyone? Thank you. You are free to leave.
Thank you.
I swear by the Almighty God that the evidences I will give before this tribunal shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you, Professor. You can sit down kindly. Chair, second witness for the day, Professor Abdi Yaqub Goulier. Kindly, Professor, be a bit loud, introduce yourself, your name.
I am Abdi Yaqub Goulier, a retired commissioner.
Retired, yes, as that now, you're retired commissioner. Yeah. Now, you recall you have a witness statement is in front of you there. It's on page 3. Oh, that small one, yes.
Yes.
That is your statement before the tribunal? And you want to rely on that statement?
Yes.
Now, in your statement at paragraph 4, you seek to rely on the facts filed in an affidavit. Paragraph 4, which affidavit and filed where?
The affidavit, the reply in affidavit which I filed in the presidential election petition number E005 of 2022, Raila Odinga versus others, IEBC, and others.
Do you wish before this tribunal to rely on the facts in that affidavit?
Yes.
And you are aware that the matter before the presidential, on the presidential elections was determined by the Supreme Court?
Yes.
And it's not before this tribunal?
Yes.
And you are aware that what is the matter before this tribunal?
It's on the removal of commissioners.
And on that matter you rely on the same affidavit?
Yeah. The facts remain and they don't change.
The facts do not change. Now, let us go to volume 3. It's a big bundle there, volume 3. Volume 3, page 16, 16. Top right, it is paginated.
Yeah.
Right, from page 16 all the way to page number 23 are those the facts you intend to rely on?
Page 16. Am I on the wrong?
Volume 3.
Okay,
16. You see it?
Okay. Yeah.
All the way to page number 24. Not 23, page 24.
I see an affidavit with tables. Is that the one?
Yes.
16 has... Okay. Yeah.
Now you have volume, the other one was volume 4. Now you have volume 3.
Yeah.
Look at page 16 all the way to page 24.
Yeah.
Is that your affidavit?
Yes.
And you saw it, page 23. It was sworn on which day? Look at page 23.
On 26th day of August 2022.
And you seek to rely on those facts.
Yeah.
And their next just goes on all the way to page number 33.
Yes.
25. You will seek to rely on those ones.
Yes.
Now, I'll briefly go through some of the pertinent facts in that affidavit. And I'd want to start at paragraph 3. Let's start first of all as a commissioner. When was your tenure? From when?
It's from January 2017, 18th January 2017 to 17th of January 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
And you then, was Commissioner Irene Massit one of you?
She joined us in 2021.
In 2021.
Yes,
As
sometime
what?
in September.
As a commissioner.
As a commissioner.
On 2021. Paragraph 3, you talk of your experience in public sector. Just explain it in a brief. Paragraph 3.
Yeah, I started my working career in the Ministry of Livestock then, and then for almost 25 to 30 years in the university, and thereafter the last 6 years at the Commission.
And university, you're doing what?
I did various assignments as a lecturer, and as I was exiting, I was a director.
Right. Now, in paragraph 7, you seek to reiterate or adopt some documents or some affidavits. Clarify. Paragraph 7.
Yeah, I had read the affidavit of Wafula Wanyonyi Chebukati, the chairperson of the commission.
The chairperson of the commission.
Yes.
And after reading it?
And I reiterate and adopt its contents.
You reiterate and adopt its contents.
Yes.
And that affidavit is in the next volume.
This one.
Just look at the next volume in very brief. We go back to that. Are those the affidavits by Mr. Wafula Chebukati, which you say you adopted the facts in those affidavits?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So you can go back to your volume. We go to paragraph 8 and 9 of your affidavit. 8 and 9 of your affidavit, you talk about designation by the chairman. Can you clarify at what point was this done and its relevance?
The designation was done sometime in September of 2021 when we were joined by the new 4 commissioners. Prior to that, we were only 2 commissioners and a chair, and we had amalgamated a number of the committees that were in existence before to accommodate the 3 of us. And upon arrival of the 4 commissioners, committees were expanded and redesignations were done to oversight certain functions.
And in these new designations, the 4 new ones, did it include Commissioner Irene Massit?
Yes.
Right. And what was the main purpose as relates to the general elections of August 2022?
The commission operates through committees, and the committees feed into the plenary of the commission. And so each of the commissioners are assigned to chair a particular committee where issues are deliberated after management have had their own management meetings, and decisions that are reached by management is filtered through the committees to the plenary.
And was Commissioner Irene Massit designated to chair any committee or to oversight any committee, and if so, which one?
Yes, legal and public affairs, I think.
Legal and public affairs. Right. Now,
legal compliance, I think, and
okay.
Yeah.
Now, as we flow all the way to paragraph 11, you talked about the procedure of the National Tallying Center. And from what we've seen, it appears as if, was there any challenge as we are working at the National Tallying Center before the point of declaration of results?
Not that I'm aware of.
How was the function of the, explain how you're functioning as a commission before the point of declaration of results?
The election being a special event or activity, we had the chair allocated at certain tasks in trying to achieve the outcome, which was the election itself. And in so doing, we were assigned different objectives, which were all geared towards contributing to the smooth running of the election at the National Tallying Center. And so the committees had staff working under them, and if there were any issues, the committees were feeding into the commission.
So each committee had a staff, that's what you're saying?
Yes, there is 1 or 2 commissioners giving the leadership, and then we had staff below them that were working with the commissioners. Yeah.
Right. Now, how were you functioning, or how was the function of the commission before the point of declaration of results? I'm going to paragraph 11.
There weren't any issues, I think, except for the challenges that was happening on the floor in terms of the verification process, which we were all retreating into our holding room and trying to deal with the challenges as they were emerging on the floor. But there has been seamless operation up until the end.
Right. Now, let us go to the next page, 19. You, paragraph 15, 14, and 15, you say, I was shocked to learn that some people, I'm reading paragraph 15, line 2, I was shocked to learn that some people were willing to sabotage the will of the people and had the audacity to request the commission to come to their aid to achieve such reprehensible desires. And then you go to paragraphs 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Yeah.
Kindly explain what transpired in this, and where was this, and what really transpired.
We had a number of challenges, as has been expounded in the chair's affidavit, in terms of our staff being harassed in the course of doing their work. And so that is part of what I was actually referring to in that particular paragraph. But coming back to the sections or the chapters that you have highlighted, we had visitations, and in those visitations, at first we were asked to go slow on the process. We had 7 days. We should not fast track and complete the process, which was not very clear to us why that was being made. And thereafter we had visitations from other senior elders or citizens of the country, to the effect that in the 17th chapter, the 17th paragraph, where we were being asked to put the interest of the country.
Are the visitors the one mentioned in paragraph 17?
Yes.
All right, then go on.
Yes, and we were asked to look at the bigger picture. The Commission does not operate in a vacuum, and we were being asked to ensure that the country is holding together, and so the impression, or rather the request that were being made, was to make decisions in a certain manner, for purposes of trying to ensure the country is.
So in paragraph 18, you talk of moderation, then you flow to 19. Explain that.
Yeah, we had a late night meeting. I think early morning, I should say, the visitation that happened as espoused in 17 and 18. Having heard the sentiments of the visitors, the senior citizens, then commissioners had a chance to react to the request that was made, of which some of the commissioners were actually of the opinion that they agreed with the senior citizens' sentiments.
Professor, let's go slowly.
Yeah.
You have 17 and 18 talking about visitors and the request for moderation.
Yeah.
Where exactly was this happening?
This was in the Tally Center room, a hall or auditorium, but we had a commissioner's holding room.
Okay. Was this in the holding room?
Yes, this meeting was happening in the holding room.
All right. Within the commission, who was present?
We were all of us were present.
All of us.
When the chair,
all the commissioners.
When the request was made to visit, to talk to the chair, this request was specific to the chair initially, but the chair said he was not going to have discussion with the visitors unless the other commissioners are present. So we were present.
All the commissioners are present,
yeah,
including Commissioner Irene Massit.
All of us are present. Yeah.
We flow to paragraph 19. When the chairman made this invitation, were the visitors present or not?
They were there.
The visitors were present.
Yes.
And these are the ones mentioned in paragraph 17.
Yes.
Now, we have Commissioner Juliana Cherera, Justice Nyangaya, Irene and Mr. Massit, and Commissioner Francis Onderi. You say they agreed, and I need to be very specific only to Commissioner Irene Massit. When you say that she agreed to the remarks, please kindly explain what you mean.
The remarks are the remarks that were explained in 17 and 18 of moderating the results for purposes of ensuring that the country is held together.
So what position was taken in that boardroom by Commissioner Irene Massit?
The position was that she was in agreement with the elders' sentiments. That the results should be moderated to the extent that we announced a particular candidate, as explained in 18.
And the candidate they wanted to be announced, was it the winning candidate?
At that point, I personally did not know who is the winning candidate.
Oh, you did not know at that point.
So I didn't know who was the winner at the time.
Right. Now, after that, what was your position yourself?
Personally, the contribution I made when the chair gave us an opportunity to react is that is what I have mentioned there, and I said we need to abide by the Constitution.
Right, you need to abide by the Constitution.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I said I did not know the outcome of the election at that point, and any such discussion was not welcome for as far as I was concerned. And my view was that we didn't need to discuss about winning and losing because we didn't know who is winning and who is losing.
Right. Now, for Commissioner Irene Massit to make comments to agree to moderation in the presence of the people you're calling elders, was that legal? Or does the Constitution allow that?
In my opinion, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Because we saw an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, and the Constitution defines how a winner in a presidential contest is to be declared.
Right. Now, we flow from there to paragraph 23 to 28. Appears you had other visitors, and before we go there, at what point then did these first visitors leave, and at around what time?
They were around, the discussions were happening around 3 a.m., 3:30, thereabout.
And this is 3 a.m. of which day?
Of 15th morning.
On the 15th August 2022.
2022, yes.
Right. And then at what point do they leave for the next batch that starts at paragraph 23 of your affidavit?
Immediately we had the discussions, and having seen our sentiments, they left immediately.
The visitors?
The visitors, yes.
Right.
And so then it's now the next morning. Actually, the morning began at midnight, so after midnight. So after around 8 or 9 in the morning is when the chairman gets a call asking him that there are visitors that are going to. He should expect some visitors.
Yes.
And so through to that, I was informed by the security in charge of the bombers that there was a team that had arrived. I think they are about 10 a.m. in the morning. And the intention was to meet the chairman.
And did they come?
They came, yes.
And look at paragraph 23. Are those is that a team, the names there, are those the people who arrived in the next group of visitors?
Yes, the ones who came at 10, and they were seated at the office of the in charge of security,
yes,
which was within the bombers area, actually not far from the Tally Center.
Yes.
And so he left them in his office, and he's the one who walked to the tally center where we were, at our holding room, to inform us that the visitors have arrived.
Then what happened after that?
So the chair, they wanted to see the chair, and so the chair had said that we were going to see them, but we were finalizing some verification process, and we were going to see them at 2 o'clock.
Now, in this verifying process that you are finalizing, was there a dispute at that time as you're doing the verification?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, among the commissioners, everything was...
Amongst the commissioners, we did not have any dispute at that time.
As at that time?
Yeah.
Then what happened after that?
And so once we were almost done, the chair had called for a meeting at 2 p.m. And this was a meeting for commissioners. And by that time, our anticipation was that the final results would be printed out. And so we called for a meeting, and we went for the meeting, but the first item on the meeting was to receive the visitors that had come.
So where was this meeting?
The meeting was at the boardroom of the CEO of Bomas.
So that was within Bomas of Kenya?
It's within the Bomas, yes, but
The
in
boardroom.
a different building.
Right.
From the tally center.
And who was then in that meeting?
All of us. All the commissioners were there.
Did that include Commissioner Irene Massit?
All of them, yes, including her.
Including her. Right. Then we flow from paragraph 23 and 24 and 25 and 26. Kindly explain what transpired and what was this meeting all about.
I recall the initial, after we went into the boardroom, the visitors also joined us in the boardroom. And the starting point was introductions. The visitors introduced themselves.
And these are the names on paragraph 23?
Yes.
Right, go on.
And they were led by Mr. Kihara.
Yes.
So that was the team. I introduced them one by one. There were 4 in total, and he's the only one who spoke. And after introducing them, then he explained to us the reasons for their visitation, and he said they were visiting on behalf of the main committee of NSAC, and he stressed that the committee was, purposely chosen, the composition of it, and to represent various offices. And so after that, then he went on to tell us the reasons for the visitation, and that if we declare that the results to go in one way, as he explained, which was in favor of William Ruto, that the country was going to ban.
That's what you're explaining in paragraph 25?
Paragraph 25.
Yes.
And we were even threatened that, should Kenyans begin to fight each other and blood is spilled, then the blood of those Kenyans will be in our hands.
Yes.
And so...
At that time, did you know the results?
I personally, and almost all of us, personally I didn't know the results up to that time.
Right.
The final computations were done, and the CEO had been asked to finalize the process of printing those results.
All right. Let's flow to paragraph 26.
Yeah, and so as an alternative, in the event that we do not announce whoever they wanted us to announce, then the message was that we should have a runoff, or we should ensure there is a runoff.
So they need us to be candid and clear. Did they have a person they wanted you to announce?
Yes.
Who was that?
Honorable Raila.
And in the event you don't announce, did they tell you what should be done?
To do a runoff.
To do a runoff.
Yes.
As at that time, did you have the final tabulation of results?
We did not have any results as of that time.
Let's go then to paragraph 28 and 29. Read briefly and explain.
So the 28, they expected us to take a feedback. Remember, they said they were emissaries.
Yes.
And so they wanted an assurance or a feedback to take back to the committee.
Yes.
I think the assurance they expected was for us to say, yes, we will comply.
Yes.
And that was not forthcoming anyway. And so after they made their remarks, I think the chair now gave the commissioners the opportunity to react.
Was it, did he act the same way he acted when the first group of visitors, what you're calling senior citizens, had visited?
Yes, each time there were certain visitors and making certain requests, I think the chair has always told us to weigh in and give our views.
Now, these remarks at paragraph 29, were they being made in the presence of these visitors that are listed in paragraph 23? They were being made in their presence?
Yes.
Right. Now, you then explain that their first group of people to make comments were who?
The sitting arrangement was such that we had Kihara. We were like facing each other. We had Kihara. Next to him was Ogeto. Next to him was Mutiambai. And finally it was Ogola. And then next to them were these other colleagues of mine who were following in that order.
Who are these others?
And these were we had Nyangaya, Massit, Wanderi, and in that order.
All right. Now, I'm very specific to Commissioner Irene Massit because she's the one facing this tribunal. And did she make any comments in the presence of these visitors?
Yes, and I think if you look at the reaction, I mean the statements that I have made there in my affidavit, it says exactly what her reaction was.
What was her reaction?
We needed to pay attention to the advice that was given. We have to have a serious, the message needs serious, attention or consideration, and they supported the sentiments of the visitors.
I'm very, very specific to Commissioner Irene Massit. Did she support the sentiments of these visitors?
As I mentioned there, they were all in support of the sentiments, and that includes Commissioner Massit.
Commissioner Massit, you filed your statement on the 13th of December 2022. You recall adopting this affidavit. Are you aware that she has not filed anything to dispute what you're saying?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of.
Yeah.
Now, you then talk about what the commissioner talked about his oath of office, right? And the legal position. Kindly explain. Was he saying that?
On 30, when it came to my turn to speak,
yes,
the chair was giving people opportunity to react, is when I stated that the commission had a constitutional mandate to fulfill, and that in declaring the results it will be guided by the same constitution and any relevant laws. So that is my contribution to
so what are you saying when a commissioner says you declare a specific person before final tallying is done?
At the time, as I said earlier, we didn't even know who was the winner. And in any case, the Constitution defines how to announce the winner. So for me, it was not in order for anyone to assert that somebody should be declared a winner.
So in respect to what invitation was made and supported by Commissioner Irene Massit, are you saying, what are you saying in respect to his position within the Constitution?
It was not in order for any commissioner to make any statements regarding supporting any particular candidate, because we didn't know who was the winning candidate.
Right. As commissioners, did the law allow you to announce a winner before the final declared results are with you?
No.
Could you at all attempt to do it?
No.
Right. We go flow from there to paragraph 32.
Yes.
At
this point, the visiting team from, or should I say the representatives of the NSAC team had left.
Yes.
Because I think the chair had concluded that particular matter, and by saying that he was going to uphold the Constitution.
So the chairman said he'll uphold the Constitution of Kenya.
And so that concluded their mission, because if their mission was to announce a particular person, and at that time we didn't know who was the winner, then by saying we will uphold the Constitution, it meant anybody could be the winner, and whoever that would be, whether it is the person they were fronting or otherwise, the chairman said we will uphold the Constitution.
We will uphold the Constitution. Yes. Let's go to paragraph 32.
And so when the when the team left, it was around that time that the CEO, who had gone to make printings of the final results, walked in with a bundle of papers.
He walked in where?
Into the boardroom where we were seated.
He was with who?
He was with the director legal, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
All right. Look at paragraph 32.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the CEO walked in the boardroom with the final results and handed over a copy of the results to each of the commissioners.
So these were the final results after tallying?
These were the final results, which is part of the Form C, the summary statistics by county.
Yes.
Because the actual results contains the 34As, results of the polling stations, 46,299 of them. And so it was a voluminous document which he could not print given the limited time for all the 7 commissioners. So he had printed one copy of that document, which is nearly 400 plus pages.
He had one copy?
Yes.
Of nearly 400 pages?
400 plus pages.
Yes.
And then the summary, which actually is part of that 400 pages, 400 plus pages. And the summary is the results by county. It gives the overall total for each of the contestants.
So there was a summary for the 47 counties?
Yes.
And what was given, first of all, who was in that boardroom?
Who was?
Who was in that boardroom at that point?
All of us were there.
All of us means all the commissioners?
Remember, the other visitors just walked out, so we were all seated.
You are all the commissioners?
Yes.
So you all got what? A copy of the summary?
A copy of the summary, yes.
And the chairman had the entire bundle?
The entire bundle was available.
Right. Now, when I read at your affidavit, you say that Mr. John walked into the boardroom with the final results and handed over a copy of the results to each commissioner.
Yes.
A debate ensued.
Yeah.
Kindly clarify, what was this debate all about, and was it occasioned by the contents of that result?
The debate ensued, I meant in light of what the exiting visitors had told us, and that the results now was finally with us, and there was a winner in the results as per the summary statistics.
So in the results you were given, who was the winner?
William Ruto.
Right.
Yes.
And then after that result was seen, what is this debate that you talked about in your affidavit?
Yes, the debate was that the results was not to the expectation of the other colleagues of ours who had taken a position that the visiting NSAC members had suggested.
So you are saying part of you had expectation.
Yes, part of us had expectation,
Is that
I believe.
part include Commissioner Irene Massit?
Yeah.
And what was that expectation?
The expectation, of course, was a particular candidate other than Ruto to win.
There were only two candidates, or main ones. So what was this particular?
Well, we had 4 candidates.
4 candididates. So what was this particular one that they wanted?
The runner-up candidate, as per the final results.
That's Honorable Raila Odinga. So what was then this debate about?
So the debate now was, having seen the final results and having seen the margin of the results was close. Close in the sense that we had almost 233,211 votes difference between the winner and the runner-up. And so the debate was that these results are too close. Can we force a runoff? That was the debate.
Force a runoff?
Yes.
So what was the Commissioner Irene Massit's position in that debate?
Now, 4 of the commissioners, including Commissioner Massit, they had protested and that the results should be changed in the light of the NSAC delegates' communication.
So
that the
changed by who? By you people, the commissioners?
The commissioners to change.
So what you're saying is that Commissioner Irene Massit and others wanted you
to moderate
usurp the will of the people.
Yes.
And change the results.
Yes.
Yes, let's go on.
That the 2 of them, particularly Massit and Wanderi, of the view that the results should be pushed towards Arira.
So,
because it was a close difference in their view.
Did the law allow commissioners of IEBC to moderate or do anything to push a runoff?
Absolutely not.
Was there anything within those numbers to allow a runoff?
Absolutely not.
Was there an outright winner as provided by the Constitution?
Yes.
And was that what needed the Commissioner Massit was pushing to be changed?
Yes, alongside others.
All right. Now let's go explain then. That is what you're explaining in paragraph 33.
33, yes.
Right.
And the debate that ensued is what transpired in the course of the discussion on how to moderate, some of them suggesting moving the winning numbers of 233, 211 to rejected votes so that, a runoff can ensue. So that is the debate that ensued that had earlier on.
I'm very particular to Commissioner Irene Massit because she's the one facing the tribunal. I need you to tell only what was her position in the debate.
Yes, her position was the position of the other 3. That we moderate and ensure that we have a runoff.
Now,
at the very least.
At the very least. Yes. Right. Is the very least what they call the win-win situation?
Yes.
Paragraph 33, and what do you mean by saying they wanted a win-win situation?
In the sense that there will be another opportunity for the 2 front runners to square it out, and that the country would be stable in the event that the clear winner is announced. There would be chaos. That was the message that we were brought. And so to avert that chaos and to give an opportunity for us squaring it out second time, that was the win-win.
Right. Now, was there any legal position for you to take any of them to the rejected votes, as you're explaining in the last 2 lines of paragraph 33?
No.
Sorry?
No, there is no legal position.
There was no legal position. Now, would you say that your position, I'm reading on the last line of paragraph, last 2 lines, your position?
No, I said I will not be party to any scheme to sabotage the will of the people.
What?
Because these 233, 211 were actually the voices of Kenyans who went to cast their votes. and the people's voices cannot be moderated.
So are you saying some people, and here Commissioner Irene Massit wanted to sabotage, or what are you saying?
It would look as if there was an intention to sabotage, because if you say, can we force a runoff by putting away those votes in rejected votes, and then it means there is a tie, then that is what it implies.
Okay, then what happened? Let's flow to paragraph 34.
Now the chairman, of course, as usual, he gave opportunity to commissioners to react to the results, and the results reactions is as I described earlier. And when we all made our reactions and contributions, that the chairman came in to say now he will not be part of a discussion to subvert the will of the people of Kenya. And he would declare the winner as per the verified results.
Right,
and,
paragraph 35, flow to paragraph 35 then?
And so once that was happening, he invited us to come and with him to announce the final results as presented to us.
So to come means you were to walk to...
Yes, we were to go to, remember we were having these discussions in the CEO's boardroom,
Yes.
which is a different building.
Yes.
If you know the architecture of the Bomas, it's actually the first building on the left as
Yes.
you go in. And the Tally Center was a couple of blocks away.
Yes.
And so we had to walk out of that building into the Tally Center where we were to invite agents.
So the tallying, you were walking in to declare the final results.
Yes.
I want us to watch the clip of what happened as you were walking in, because I think you were the first one leading as you entered, and then I asked the next question. Okay. To play. Samson, I think you can explain one or two things so that it save on time. As you walked in, was the chairman with you and the CEO?
As we were walking out, the chair was leading, I was following, and then my other colleague, Commissioner Molu, and the CEO also. All of us walked out together.
Okay, it's here.
With the chair leading, yes.
Let's go back to when they were walking into. We can pause, just pause there. Now, you can see as you're walking in, led by the chair, the other team appears to be elsewhere. And you just told us you were together in a boardroom. Please clarify, how did it get to be here, and how did it get to have fracas in a national tallying center in general elections in a country like Kenya?
Now, as I mentioned earlier, the chair invited us to walk with him to the Tally Center where we were doing the verification process. And so we walked out, and as we were walking out, it happened that we were only 4 of us as we were exiting the building. The chair, myself, Commissioner Molu, and the CEO, Marjan. And we were accompanied by, I think, Director Legal and others to exit that building. So as we were exiting, it was obvious to us our colleagues were not coming with us. So they didn't exit that building.
You left them
We
in
left
the boardroom?
them in the boardroom.
Okay, let's go ahead.
And so we walked, and this is, I think, less than 100 meters from where we were walking out of and where we were walking to. And so we accessed the tally center at the basement, at the back side. There is an access where we were using to access the tally center. So we entered through the back side of the building, and we went up to the first floor, and we went into the commissioner's holding room. And the commissioner's holding room, we invited agents or presidential candidates. And the reason why we invited them was to give them the summary data, the summary county statistics and the final results, which we all had, and then also to show them the huge document of 400 pages plus, which is now the complete Form C.
Up to there, the 4 that you say were left behind, did they have the summary?
Yes, we were all issued the summary.
So, and you left them with a summary of the results to be declared?
They had the summary results with them.
Did they, in the boardroom, raise a valid issue in respect of the manner they were verified or otherwise, apart from the issue of forcing a runoff?
Apart from asking us to declare the results in one way or the other, there was no other issue that they had raised in the boardroom.
Left them with the results?
We left them with the results. We walked out. They didn't walk out with us. And so we arrived at the tally center. We accessed through the back door. We went upstairs to our holding room, and we invited all agents of the presidential candidates. And we issued each agent with the summary results which we had, and asked them to look at the complete result form, and there was a page for agents to sign.
So what you're saying is before walking here, the agents had the summary of results?
Yes.
All right, go on.
This walking in was actually later. So we went into the holding room, invited agents, 4 of them, explained to them the results have been finalized, and issued them with a result summary.
So these are the agents for the 4
presidential candidates.
So all of them had the summary?
All of them were given the results.
Right, go on.
And they were asked, this is the final Form C copy, which is the 400 pages plus. I can't remember, 460 or 470 pages. And we had asked them, because this is a huge voluminous document, we have not, because we had already issued a notice for announcing the results, we do not have adequate time to print this voluminous document for each one of them. But we had told them we can give them the printed versions plus a soft copy version later, and that they were to look at the printed one and sign the requisite page, because it was a result that originated from the 6 days of the verification, which they should have had the results on their own anyway. So at that point, the other 3 agents for the other 3 candidates viewed the document, and they signed.
What you're saying is that what you are giving them is not new, technically.
Not really. The verification was happening for 6 days.
They had the numbers?
They should have had the numbers all along the 6 days.
Right.
So in actual fact, they could only tell us the final figure is correct or not correct.
Because they had the numbers.
Because they are part of the tallying process.
Right. So who and who signed, who refused to sign?
It's only the agent for Raila Odinga that didn't sign. But he took the summary results and stormed out of the room where we were.
Then what happened?
He wanted to be given days to go through the 400 plus pages document. which we told him there is no legal timeline enabling us to allow him that. And so he stormed out and he went right into the floor where the verification was happening and mobilized people. And so as you have seen, after the other agents had signed, and we had said the results, it's not mandatory for us to wait for him to sign, for us to announce the result. The law allows us, if an agent refuses to sign, to declare the result. So we said we are going to announce the results after the others have signed. And so we now walked out, and as you can see, it's not the chair leading, it's actually me leading the team, walking into the podium.
Yes, and that's when this fracas or this disruption happened, or what?
Because the agent of Raila Odinga, that is Kanchori, had gone out, stormed out with the results. He had gone to mobilize his troops down there, and therefore by the time we were arriving at the podium, they were all on the podium.
All right. Now, when you are at the podium, was Commissioner Irene Massit and 3 others with you?
No.
And at what point did you notice what you're seeing in front of you here there?
When the fracas happened, after we walked to the podium and we sat, we were actually engaged into a kind of an argument by the people who came to the podium, and in the course of those shouting matches, you know, they were trying to shout at us, how can you announce results, you have one more day, and all that kind of stuff. So after those shouting, then we saw the table that we were seated behind was being turned on us. So at that point, we had to move back from the table to not to have the table, you know, turning on us. And in the process, there was now a commotion. And so we all ran for safety. The chair was whisked away by most of our securities. And I was also part of the people who were trying to exit that particular podium. And so when we went back into the room, now to see what to do next, when we went back into the holding room, is when we saw them. We saw the split screen.
That's when you noticed the split screen.
Yes.
Now, you recall you had said they had the final results.
Yes.
And was Commissioner Irene Massit on the other side of the split screen?
She was. The 4 of them were together.
The 4 of them were together.
Yes.
And you are saying they had the results.
They had the results.
Now.
And they didn't raise any issue about the results in the boardroom.
In the boardroom.
Yes.
Now, from the contents of what they said, and having made it outside the gazetted National Tallying Center, did the law allow that? Or what's your position?
The Bomas Tally Center was gazetted as the National Tally Center. And that any results or any declaration of presidential results has to happen in the gazetted Tally Center. And the fact that they were not at the Tally Center, and the fact that they said whatever they said was clear indication that there were other games at play, which we ourselves were not aware of. In the first place, the distance between the boardroom where we had the meeting and the Tally Center, and the time we were called the agents, if you add it cumulatively, I think it wasn't more than about 15, 20 minutes. And so for a podium, for them to have been whisked away from Bomas Tally Center, all through Langata Road or to Serena, to have a podium completely ready, in place, complete with media presence, it looks something that had been prearranged to us.
So your position, it was a prearranged?
Looks like. Because
right.
How do you leave Bomas in about 20 minutes and come to a completely set up podium?
And what the statement that Commissioner Irene Massit and the rest made, was that a position of the commissioners? And is it allowed for them to go and challenge the results before they are declared?
They, of course, casted aspersions on the results that the chair was going to announce. And this was contrary to our oath of office.
It's contrary to your oath. What do you say? Why do you say so?
Because we were part of the verification process throughout. If you recall, all of us actually, except me, did announcements of the various results at different stages.
Did that include Commissioner Irene Massit?
Yes.
As she was announcing results after results and all Kenyans saw her, did she challenge what she was herself announcing?
That's why we were all shocked when they started disowning the results in Sirena.
Right. Lastly, and I asked, was that a position of the Commission, and was it permitted by the regulations or the act that regulates the Commission?
The position of the Commission was to announce the verified results which was given to us in the boardroom. That is the position of the Commission.
To the Mr. Chairman, and I'll hand the witness to Mr. Donald Kipkorir.
Professor, I like the consistency.
My Lord, if I may be allowed to interrupt, I do confirm that the application is before you and the other members of the team have served counsels. I'll be seeking directions whether it can be canvassed to allow me. He has adversely mentioned my plans so that I'll be part of the team, or I know that I'll not be part of the team. Kindly, my Lord. Sorry for that interruption.
You know, Counsel, there must be some factual basis for the application, isn't it?
Yes, yes. That's what I wanted to lay.
Yes, and did you expect that your colleagues would respond, the persons who we are dealing would respond to the facts that you've deposed to? Now, the other thing is that, do we have copies of the application?
Yes, we've given the clerk to present them to you.
Does it work like that? That we are in the course of proceedings, and you are saying you've served my clerk, all of us need to have copies of the application, and have they responded to it, Counsel?
My Lord, I'm taking the cue from what the chair said, that once we file, and I don't think any of the councils are going to object, because paragraph 18 and 17 mentions Azimio seriously, and I'm only watching, only raising the question of Azimio. It will not prejudice anybody, my Lord. That is a matter for 2 minutes. Unless anybody objects, then you can give directions that we can argue conclusively that matter, and councils will be able to respond. It can be dealt summarily, unless there is an objection from this side, which I don't anticipate. Probably, my Lord, you can put that question to councils to say if they are objecting to Azimio being part of and parcel of these proceedings.
Again, we haven't seen it. The members have not seen that application. But subject to that, what is the position of Mr. Munge?
My Lord, Mr. Chair and members, the Gazette notice was of 6th December 2022. It was then published for the conference, I think on the 9th of December 2022, inviting people or anyone with issues to bring. At no point has Azimio or any other party even hinted they want to participate, either as amicus, as interested parties or otherwise, at no point. Even as I came this morning, I did not know. I found my good friend, who is now trying to come on record. We greeted each other. He even never mentioned why he's here. And because it's a public session, I didn't even bother. He has put the documents here. I have no time even to read because it will distract. And to me, I thought it's an attempt to distract me. I didn't even look at them. So I don't think I'm able to comment before we finish with today's, because our minds are clear. We have one more witness for today. Then we can look at what he's talking about and see whether to rebut or not. I don't think you would allow us to be ambushed. We don't know who has signed an affidavit, what is happening through this. I think the rightful thing is let's finish with the witnesses. We look at the documents they have filed. If we need to rebut, we will file affidavits for rebuttal, and the tribunal will make a reasoned decision. It is too late in the day. The petitioners have all testified. 2 other witnesses or 3 other witnesses have testified. Apart from the petitioners, this is a third. So I don't think it's the right time to distract the hearing.
So I think the question would be, will you be, because he says that you have no objection to them joining, will you be objecting, or will you be saying you have no problem with them joining?
I would rather comment once I read it, because I even don't know what is here.
Mr. Donald.
Mr. Chairman, I have the same position like Peter. I haven't seen the application. I have no position.
Yeah. So you've thrown affidavits at them, the application at them. They are entitled to respond. And until that is done, and a decision is made by members of the tribunal which way, I don't think it would be fair for us to say anything about the application. What is important is that you have filed your application and served. We will make directions on response, which can be done by close of business today. Ms. Donald, close of business today, and together, but on receipt of their response, I would expect that you file submissions. And how long can that take you, filing submissions in support of your application, so that they can also respond? Because really, you're seeking to join as amicus, or just as what? As an interested party, or as what? What is the application saying? What? Okay.
We are only coming after they mentioned that are adverse to our plan.
No, what is the application? What is the application saying? Because I haven't seen it.
No, that's not the application that having as a new party, having been
Adversely mentioned.
having been adversely mentioned, they have a right to defend themselves, or else they'll be condemned without being heard. That is the only issue. And we could not come in from when the Gazette notice was put across, because Azimio was not a party until it has been mentioned adversely. That is the reason as to why we are coming too late in this proceeding.
And it's being mentioned by Professor.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the first time that Azimio is getting to know that Professor is going to be a witness. It's the first time you're interacting with his affidavit. Is that the position?
There is also a witness that testified called Lagat, but we'll not recall that Lagat. We'll put that position to whichever witness that will be on the dock.
So fine. If it becomes necessary to recall the witness to deal with that aspect, after we make a ruling on the question of joining for purposes of cross-examination, then that will be done, okay? But for the time being, respond by close of business today. Whatever submissions you want to file, put them in, exchange, so that tomorrow morning we will see that material, and you see, we must consider it to be able to give you a ruling one way or the other, isn't it?
Much obliged,
Thank
Chair.
you. Are we satisfied with that?
That's fair.
Thank you.
We are satisfied with that. The matter can proceed.
Thank you very much.
Much obliged.
Council, yes.
I don't need the screen, just switch off the screen. Peter, I'm saying I don't need the screen, seeing the screen there. Professor, so I will get to know you. Just tell me the title of your PhD thesis. What was the title of your PhD?
I don't think it's relevant to my affidavit.
It is very relevant, Professor. I'm done asking the question. You're not a lawyer. Please, ask my question. What is the title of your PhD? Because you're called professor, so I need to know why you're called a professor.
My PhD was on amino acid fermentation in the rumen.
Just repeat again the title of the thesis?
Amino acids, fermentation of amino acids in the rumen.
So what area of study? This biology?
It's rumen microbiology.
Okay. That's easy. It's not hard there, Professor. Last week, you had a press conference. You said you were hiding. Where were you hiding, and from when to when? During the elections period. You told the country you were hiding. I don't know from who.
There has been a lot of insecurity at the Tally Center. As you recall, a number of our staff were abducted at the Tally Center. Many of them are frightened, and there has been a lot of scaring amongst the staff, including ourselves, who were hurt at the Tally Center. And because after announcing the results, we did not know what would happen to any of us, then we decided we were going to go into a safe place as we observed the happening.
My understanding, Prof, was that you were hiding before the results were announced. Are you now saying that you were hiding after the results were announced?
No, we never hid before the results were announced.
Okay.
It was after the results were announced.
Okay, fine. Just give us the layout of Bomas, the various activities being done at Bomas. Where were they? I mean, the tallying center, verification, where the commissioner's holding room, the CEO's office. Just a brief layout of the structure.
When you enter into Bomas, on your left, the huge building that you see there is where the CEO sits of Bomas. And that's where I think the board of Bomas also has a boardroom there, which is the CEO's boardroom. And since we were using Bomas, our CEO was also given an office in that particular building. At the bottom that's on the top floor, but at the bottom of that building is where we had our call center. We had a team of people that were receiving information and making communication with our field staff across the country. So it was our call center. After that, as you move into Bomas, then there is another big building. That is where the verification process was happening. And in that building, the setup was such that on the floor of the building, that's where we had the verification desks, which was being manned by our staff and in the presence of all agents of all presidential candidates. And on the dais, we had different segmentations. We had a section for media. We had a section reserved for our staff, particularly the returning officers. As they come, there was a section reserved for them. We had a section for the presidential candidates and their teams, and we had a section where diplomats and observers could sit.
And the tallying center, where was it?
It's in the Bomas.
Where? What side? How far from there? From the plenary hall of Bomas?
The tally center is at the floor of that building.
Where? In the same place? In the open place? Where was the actual tallying being done? You understand what tallying is?
I told you the tallying was done on the floor of that building, where the auditorium of that building, in an open environment.
The tallying?
Yes.
So there was no room where the tallying, there was no other secure room for doing the tallying?
No.
The technical team of IEBC, was it, doing the tallying?
All the tallying that was happening on the floor of that building.
Professor, you know you're under oath. Fine. Give us, on 15th of August, the meeting at 3 a.m. when you say 3 people came to see you, 3 a.m. In your affidavit, you are mentioning, of course, the 4 commissioners. Is your memory correct? Are you sure Commissioner Nyang'aya was present that day at 3 a.m. in the morning?
As far as I recall, all commissioners were there.
No, I'm asking you. Was Commissioner Nyang'aya present? Because all this things, one day we'll know the truth. I'm just asking you. Do you, from your own recollection, do you remember Commissioner Nyang'aya sitting at 3 a.m. with you in that place?
All I can recall is all commissioners were present.
I'm asking you a specific question, Nyang'aya, because at the right time, we'll know where he was, we'll have call logs and everything else where he was. So I'm asking again, do you remember Commissioner Nyang'aya sitting with you at 3 a.m. in the morning? I'm asking Commissioner Nyang'aya, not all commissioners. Was Commissioner Nyang'aya with you at 3 a.m. in the morning? Is it a yes or no, Professor?
And I'm saying, as far as I am recalling, I think he was there.
Okay. That's good. So, are you able to recollect the words that each commissioner said at 3 a.m. after this visit by the visitors?
No, I cannot recollect all of them, other than what I've stated in my affidavit.
Are you sure Commissioner Irene Massit spoke at 3 a.m.? Did you hear what she said? Did she speak?
As far as I recall, what I have heard is what is in my affidavit.
You haven't said anything there, but I'm saying, you're just saying the common position of the 4 commissioners, but I'm asking you specifically. Did you hear Commissioner Irene Massit speaking at 3 a.m.?
The 4 commissioners, one of them was Commissioner Irene.
Did you hear Commissioner? You know, let's not be evasive, Professor. You know, we're here to speak the truth, and one day we'll know the truth. And I'm asking you, did Commissioner Irene Massit speak at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Yes.
Okay. Did you take minutes, Professor?
No, we didn't take minutes.
Why didn't you take minutes? These are crucial. You've told us all along those are crucial, big constitutional obligation, assignment, and you didn't have the energy, temerity to do minutes? Or you were too busy to do minutes?
At 3 a.m. in the morning, which secretariat was there to take minutes?
But you can do minutes, or is manual job?
There were no minutes taken.
When those visitors left at 3 a.m. in the morning, were there 5 visitors from the other side of the political divide waiting to come in at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Not that I recall.
Okay, one day we'll know the names, we'll know who they are. Because it seems you're talking about against one side of the political divide in your entire affidavit. It's a love letter to one side of the political divide. So at this time, 3 a.m. in the morning, you said correctly the results had not been finalized.
Not yet.
So logically, why would they discuss the things which are not there? Why would you discuss results which you don't know? I want to understand the logic. You don't know the results. How can you say you want to discuss results you don't know?
The results were up in the portal. And anyone had access to that portal, and anybody could have done their own tally. So I have no idea whether that is what they did and they knew something that we didn't know.
You know, Professor, you've acted consistently and with so much, I don't want to use a word, about the law. So surely, were the results out at 3 a.m.? Did we have the results at 3 a.m.?
I said we didn't have results at that time.
Yes. When you met the security team in the afternoon, did you have the results at that time when the security team came in?
We did not have results at the time we were meeting.
So what results are you moderating? So, you know, it's also, we know we must be logical in our thinking, Professor. And thank God you're a professor. And I believe you understand those logical thinking and cognitive reasoning. So you can't tell us people are discussing results to moderate when there are no results. I just need to understand what results are being moderated when there are no results.
Okay, let me explain.
Yeah.
When the colleagues from NSAC were there, we did not have results. And what I said was, as they were leaving, the CEO walked in with the results. And the moderation happened after the results were received by us.
So, Professor, so what was the message that Kennedy Kiara wanted to take back to whoever sent it, if you don't have the results? So what message will be sent back?
You can only ask him, I don't know.
But it's your affidavit, because you took it so
The
badly.
message he wanted to take back is compliance with their request.
You want to say they want to sabotage the process, they want to subvert, but I'm asking a logical question. What do you subvert when you don't know? Something you don't know.
Remember, they have come to tell us if you announce so and so. So it means they anticipated something.
In paragraph 32 of your affidavit, you're saying Mr. Marjan walked in the boardroom with the final results. Mr. Marjan walked in the boardroom with the final results and added a copy of the results to each commissioner. Is that your position?
Yeah.
You've told us there was only one copy of the 500 pages. So which copy did he hand of the results did he hand over to each commissioner?
There is a summary which is part of the 400 pages which gives the breakdown by county.
I'll show you the summary of the results. Either it's in the affidavit of Chebukati or the affidavit of Wanderi. Wanderi's affidavit. No, Wanderi. So, Chair, just on the affidavit of Mr. Wanderi. This is volume 2, page 157. Mr. Clark, just give this to Professor. You can see. But give him this. Give him this. That's a 3-page document you call the results. You remember that document, which Marjan brought to the boardroom, the commissioner's room. Is that the copy?
Yeah, this is the results by county.
Yeah, this is 3-page.
Yeah.
That's the one that he gave to every commissioner.
Yeah.
So again, Professor, did Marjan give every commissioner the 3-page or the 400-page document?
No, 3-page. Not
3-page.
I said there was only one copy
Yeah.
of
But in your affidavit, you're saying, at paragraph 32, you're saying Mr. Marjan worked in the boardroom with final results and had a copy each to each commissioner. Yes. So which copy did he hand the commissioner?
This result, which is a summary of the 400 page. And it gives the final result.
Just read again. Just read for the public, page 32. I mean, paragraph 32 of your affidavit. Just read aloud. It's not long one. Read aloud paragraph 32.
After NSAC team had left, the Commission Secretary, CEO, Mr. Hussein Marjan, walked into the boardroom with the final results and handed over a copy of the results to each commissioner.
These are the results you are talking about.
This is the results that he had distributed to all the commissioners, yes. But there was one hard copy for the entire 400 pages.
Professor, in your affidavit, you're saying he handed results, a copy of the results to each commissioner. And I want us to be clear again for the record. This is a 3-page document that was handed to every commissioner.
Yes, the final result I implied was the final tally. And this page gives the final tally for each candidate.
So this is a report that each commissioner was given, yes. And this is a report that the 3-page that the chairman wanted now the commissioners to join in announcing the results.
Yeah.
The 3-page. They just been given. What time was it again? Was it 4:20? You remember the time they were given this page?
I think the ANSAC people, we had discussions up to around 3. I think it should have been approaching 4. I can't remember the exact time.
It was about 4. Yeah. My information was it was 4:20.
Around there about.
Okay. So at when was the results, final results announced to the country?
Well, there was commotion and I can't remember. It must have been 6-ish or 5-ish.
So let's say within 2 hours of the final results being given to each commissioner. Results were given to the commissioner about 4:20. Results were announced to the public at about 5, 6.
Around 5-ish, 5 something. I can't remember exactly time.
Timeline of about 2 hours from the time they are given this final
Well,
results.
it can be 2 hours, I think.
Even 3 hours. Even
no, it's not even 3 hours. It should be less than that. Yeah.
Less?
Could be less than that because we spent a little time with the agents.
So it's about 1 hour?
And then we went to the podium and that was a fracas.
Okay.
So we had to retreat back into the holding room and then we came out later.
These are the results, the 3-page that Marjan gave to each commissioner. Yes. That you wanted, that the chairman wanted it to be the basis for announcing the results.
I told you the chairman had a copy of the complete result.
One copy.
And the announcement would have been done by county.
So there is one copy, 400, 500 pages.
400 plus.
About 500 pages. The chairman wants the commissioners who've been given 3-page document to join him in announcing the results immediately. In fact, he told them they walked the podium to announce the results. They've just been given 3-page by Mr. Marjan. You've told us you were not able to make copies because it is voluminous. It is 500 pages. But you want the commissioners to read 500 pages document and escort the chairman to announce the results of the country.
The document that we were given was a summary of the 400-page document. And therefore, since we were part and parcel of the process of generation of the 400-page document, it was on that basis that we had to look at the summary of the 400-page document, which would have been the basis for the announcement, yes.
You know, my issue is the logical, the human possibility. You've been given a 500-page document at 4:20 or at 4 o'clock by Marjan, who just walked in. And the chairman wants you to join them in going to the podium to announce. Is it possible to do, basically to get a document and walk the podium, you're not being given even like 1 day, 4 hours to read the document? Is it possible to do it? I don't know. How long does it take to go through a 500-page document?
My understanding is that the 500-page document was a document that we were part of in creating or during the verification process of the 6 days. And so it's not a document that is coming from nowhere. And so getting the summary by constituency is sufficient for us to make an announcement of the final result. In any case, the final results would have been announced on the basis of the county results which were contained in the 3-page document.
You read Section 39 of the Elections Act. There's various stages of announcing the presidential results. At the polling station, 34A.
Yeah.
Constituency, 34B. And then national tally, 34C. Just give me the Elections Act. I want him to. So again, for the record, we see the sequence, which is because you told us for the last 1 hour, when being cross-examined, being examined by my friend Peter, about fidelity to the law. So let's be faithful to the law. Let's read Section 39 of the Elections Act. Just let's read 39(1)(c). It's again short, very short, but it's mandatory. Let the country know the sequence of announcing presidential results. And you tell us whether you are faithful to it.
C?
Yeah, C.
For purposes of presidential election, the Commission shall electronically transmit in a prescribed form the tabulated results of an election for the president from a polling station to the constituency tally center and to the national tally center. Tally and verify the results received at the national tally center, and C, publish the polling station result forms on an online public portal maintained by the Commission.
You haven't jumped the word prescribed in every paragraph. There is no prescribed format in every of the sections you've read.
I've read what you gave me.
Just give me. So, again in the sequence, there is the prescribed form in the polling station, prescribed form in the constituency tallying center, and the prescribed form in the national tallying center. And then it says, you publish online the results. These are the last results of the national tallying center. And then now the chairman announces the results. The last result is from 34C. Until now, Professor, have you ever published from 34C in entirety in the public portal?
To the best of my knowledge,
as of now,
the result was in public portal.
I'm saying until now, as we're speaking now, Professor. If we now log in onto IEBC portal now, Libya, are we going to get Form 34C in entirety as the prescribed form set on the Elections Act?
I cannot speak for the Commission now, but as far as I am aware, the result was uploaded into the portal.
You know, I'm asking a simple answer. The Act says Form 34C in the prescribed format must be published online before the results are announced by the chairman. When were the results published in the prescribed format on the public portal?
The results were actually published from the portal, because when the verification was happening, it was automatically updating the portal. And the final results from C is part of what was available to the public via the portal.
In the Elections Act, Professor, there is a format which is given, Form 34C. 1 minute. Because here we're talking about fidelity to the law, so we must take time. Form 34C, Mr. Chairman, is a prescribed form pursuant to Regulations 87, Sub-Regulation 3, Sub-Regulation B. So 87, 3B. And it sets out the format of the Form 34C, which was published in the portal. And it's very prescriptive. It's very clear on what you give the names. Just let him read the column, what is the information supposed to be in Form 34C. The columns of 34C, which is mandatory format.
It's the polling station code, polling station name, registered voters, and then candidates. That's what you have given me here.
So has that ever been published until now on the portal, in that format?
The results that were published in the portal.
In that format?
And now the format you are showing me is Form 34B.
No, see.
The one that...
Or the next page, then you read the wrong one. See. This is C. What are the contents of 34C again?
Yeah, C gives the county code, county name, constituency code, constituency name, polling station code, polling station name, and then the candidate. Then total valid votes and rejected ballots.
And that...
Then there is sub-county totals, county subtotals.
So if you are faithful to Form 34C, that form should be about 500 pages. 400, 500 pages. From that.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yes. And it says again in the law that you must publish before the results are declared. Was it published before Mr. Chebukati announced the results on 15th of August? Was it published and the format is prescribed?
The results, as I mentioned to you, were published out of our portal, which means when the verification was happening on the floor, it was automatically updating in the system. And so what was published is what was in the portal. You know,
Professor, you've told this tribunal, and you're being led by Peter, that my client violated the law. So, and you actually supported it. And I want to know from you, what results did you want my client to support when you not publish the results until today in the prescribed format, Form 34C, in a public portal?
As far as I am concerned, the results that were announced was the results that was in the portal.
As I say again, you've told us we must be faithful to the law. You were the team leader of the tallying center. From your own knowledge as the team leader, did you publish the results in the format 34C in entirety, 500
pages? The results
pages?
were published in the portal, and the results was being printed from the portal.
When the committees were formed in June 2021, you told us. Do you remember the members of your committee, elections committee?
Which elections committee?
The committees were formed in June. You told us, which were made you made a member of the committee of the elections committee, but there were other committees by the chairman. He formed other committees.
No, that was not June. It was after the new commissioner joined us.
Sorry, not June. September. Sorry.
Yeah.
September.
Yeah.
You correctly said Irene chaired the legal committee. You were the chair of elections committee, elections operations.
Operations.
Do you remember the members of the other committee?
My committee?
Yes, elections committee, as of September 2021.
Yeah, we had Irene and Nyangai.
Yeah, so you were 3 of you. You.
Yeah, each committee had about 3 committees.
Yeah, yeah. Then I'm a member from the secretariat.
Yeah, of course.
So it was you, Irene, and Nyangaya. This June, I mean September, when you were appointed to the elections committee. So I want to understand, when the elections was actually done in August, how come the chairman reconstituted committee removed the other 2 commissioners and made the team leader and made Marja CEO alternate team leader?
That you can ask the chair. But from my understanding is that the tasks that were being overseen by the commissioners were wide and varied. And it is for that reason, and some of the tasks were not directly related to the committee that you are involved in. And so because of the nature of the tasks, the chair had redistributed the commissioners in performing or oversighting various tasks, and yet the actual work was being done by the secretariat staff, because under each commissioner there were commission staff that were performing the actual duties. The
Constitution, what does it say about the role of the commissioners in presidential elections? What is the role of the commissioners?
Really to provide oversight.
No. It is to verify and tally presidential results. You know, you've been telling us about the law, Professor, so we must be faithful to the law. What does the Constitution say about presidential results? I mean, the elections. You just need to be reminded the role of your commissioner. Sorry, Chairman, we have to take time on the commissioner because it was very sanctimonious on the fidelity of the law, so we must tell him what the law says. Just give him again. Let him read section 138, 3C, the role of the commissioners. Just read loud.
138, 3C, is it?
Yeah.
In the presidential election, after counting the votes in the polling stations, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission shall tally and verify the count and declare the result. But this is now the commission, the IEBC Commission.
We'll pick it from there.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So that...
How about not forget?
No. We are all here to remind you.
Okay.
So we'll take 15 minutes break and then we'll resume. Thank you.
Thank you.
They are photocopied, all the agents are given copies, and now they check one by one, the polling station by polling station, and once it happens, it's correct, they go into the system that generates the C. So the physical A is counter-checked And if it is verified, the system you tick. So as you do the ticking or as you do the okay, it actually automatically tallies.
So the crowd we're seeing in the, is it called plenary, at Bomas, the theater, and the theater?
Yeah, the floor.
So all those people, that's what they were doing the tallying?
Yes.
At least we saw part of it, live transmission of that process. I didn't see commissioners going down there. Did you see were the commissioners down in the place? Because I just saw them announcing the results, but I didn't see them down in the place with the crowd, with the people working.
If you were there throughout the 6 days, you would have seen them mingling with the participants of the tally verification process on the floor.
They were down there?
Yeah.
In your affidavit, page 25 of the bundle, page 25. You've seen the document appointing you as a team leader?
Yeah, alternate.
Again, for the record, I want you to read just read the entire letter. It's not a long letter. Page 25.
This is a letter addressed to me.
What's the date of the letter, just for the record?
Dated 22nd July, 2022. It's addressed to me. It's also addressed to Marjan Hussein Marjan, the CEO. And it's referenced appointment to the results management team at the Presidential Tallying Center, Bomas of Kenya. Reference is made to the above stated subject matter pursuant to Section 39 of the Elections Act and the Regulations 83 and 84(1) and 2A. The Commission has designated Bomas of Kenya as the Presidential Election Tallying Center for the 9th of August 2022 general election. Consequently, you are hereby appointed to manage the presidential election results path as follows. So, myself, team leader, and Marjan, alternate team leader.
Just continue the
broad terms of reference or terms of reference of the team are: 1, undertaking quality assurance of results forms received from the Presidential Returning Officer's desk, tallying and processing of election results, assist the Presidential Returning Officer in managing a record of the election of results. Copies of letters of appointments of the team are attached herewith for your information, record, and further necessary action. The appointment takes effect immediately.
Thanks. So from the letter, you are the team leader of the entire presidential election process, basically, in the tallying and verification and tallying, or tallying and verification.
Yeah, alternate.
Yeah, and the alternate, okay, they call you the team leader, and the alternate is Marjan. In fact, I was coming to that actually, that the meaning on alternate means co-equal, like you are co-equal.
Okay.
Yeah, you are equal. So basically, you and Marjan were the lead, were in charge of the tallying and verification of the presidential results.
Over 10 years.
Yes. I mean,
because there was a team attached to us.
Yeah, but the
in a separate letter.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're the leaders.
Yeah.
So basically, the other people are technical staff.
Yes.
And the other commissioners, what roles were they given?
There were various roles because the activities were wide. Yeah. And they were equally as important.
Yeah, I know.
So the other commissioners had equally important roles to play in other areas. But when it came to verification and announcing of results, it was not an exclusive for us because, as you might have noted, the results were even announced by almost all commissioners except me.
I'm agreeing on that, by the way, Professor. I'm agreeing. What I'm saying is that when it comes to tallying and verification of presidential results, it was exclusive mandates given to you by the chairman and Marjan, you and Marjan. The others were dealing with logistics, with public relations, with other things, but even security. But you and Marjan were exclusively in charge of tallying and verification of presidential results. Can we agree on that?
Yes, to the extent that we were coordinating that activity on behalf of the other commissioners.
I'm saying let's not. Let's not fight on language, because every commissioner was given a specific role. Another was given security, another was given public relations. But you, as Commissioner Guli, with Marjan, you were given exclusive role of tallying and verification of presidential results. No one was sharing that role with you. No other commissioner was sharing that role with you.
Coordinating the activities of the verification.
The letter speaks for itself. We can argue until the council, but the letter speaks for itself. Why did the chairman appoint you again?
You can ask him.
So he's the chairman, yeah? Was there a meeting by the commissioners on this 22nd of July to allocate each commissioner a role, or because my information is that everyone got their own letter individually. So in fact, they didn't know what the other person got. So there was no meeting to allocate these roles.
Allocations were done by the chairman, and since he had known his commissioners, he was best suited to allocate duties specific to the competencies of each of the commissioners.
I agree. So at least we agree again. Let's agree on one thing, that it is the chairman who did this appointment solely.
Since it was a small assignment on the election at the Boma Stanley Center, he did it for all of us.
It can't be a small assignment, Professor. You told us it was a big assignment. It can't be a small assignment.
The big assignment is when you're chairing committees.
Yeah, but when you're chairing, this is the climax of 5-year mandate of IEBC, announcing the presidential results, doing the presidential results. Did you get a chance to read the judgment of the Supreme Court?
No.
Okay. In the Supreme Court judgment, the court said unanimously that the chairman has no such role of running the presidential elections alone. He must run with the entire 6 commissioners. Do you remember something like that in the judgment?
I don't remember, but I don't believe the chairman ran alone the commission.
In the judgment, section 80, regulation 87 of the election regulations that gave the chairman this big oversized role of appointing you alone was repealed by the Supreme Court. It was declared unconstitutional. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
That's what the Supreme Court said, that it doesn't have such role. You'll be telling us about fidelity and law. The Supreme Court said he didn't have such role. It was not a one-man show, but you ran it like a one-man show.
I'm here, having worked with the chairman for 6 years, and I'm best placed to judge the chairman more than anyone else. And I do believe the chair had been inclusive and consultative in his decision-making process.
That's your position again. Let's go to that. What the Supreme Court said about that. Supreme Court, again, in its judgment, they read your affidavit. They read the affidavit of every commissioner. And the Supreme Court was basically saying, those are boardroom wars. They didn't care about your fights. The 3 commissioners, they said you're always together, the 3 commissioners and the 4 commissioners. And the Supreme Court was dismissive of your fights. But here you want to convince us that the fight was so big, it was a crisis. Supreme Court saw through the affidavit, and they didn't say it's a big issue. They saw it was boardroom war. But you're telling us, yes, are you trying to revise the Supreme Court judgment, Gulia?
I'm not in any way revising any judgment, whether it is Supreme Court or any other court of law. All that I'm saying is we did not have fights. We had differences of opinion. That's not fights.
You know, in your evidence in chief, you were trying to paint a picture of yourself and the chairman You didn't say about the other commissioner, Molo. Of course, we need to support Molo. But you're trying to paint the 4 commissioners, which are called Cherera 4, as rogue, as, I don't know, they want to overthrow the constitution. You know that's your entire tenor of your evidence in chief. And the Supreme Court saw through your affidavit, and they saw it was nothing like that, the way you're trying to paint this tribunal. They saw it as just a boardroom dispute. But you want to make it look like it was a constitutional crisis.
Do you think moderating of results of election, people's voices, is a small boardroom war? I don't think so. In my opinion, we had differences of opinion on how to manage the results.
You know, Gulia, you told us at 3 a.m. in the morning there were no results. At 4 o'clock there were no results. But you're accusing my client and the other 4 commissioners, the Cherera 4, that at 3 a.m. in the morning they want to moderate results. That at 4 a.m. they want to certain results to be declared. You're the team leader in charge of this entire, exclusive. The results were brought before 20. And here you are excitedly telling us that they wanted to moderate results. What results were they trying to moderate when there are no results? How do you moderate nothing?
What I told you and what I'm saying is that the 4 commissioners agreed with individuals who came with intentions for us to vary the results. And by agreeing with them, they probably knew what we didn't know in terms of results.
Professor, you know, you told us you were a teacher at the university. So I want a logical explanation as to how do you moderate that which you don't know?
We learned the results when it was brought to the boardroom.
Exactly. And we're agreeing on that.
And before that, there were people who seemed to have known what the result thought. They must have known something we didn't know. I hope I'm clear.
In the fullness of time, we'll know the truth. Well, I'm asking, until now, for the record again, under oath, as a team leader, have you published the results online from 34C in entirety, 500 pages, until now?
The results have been published, and the physical copy that was signed by agents were also scanned and uploaded into the portal.
So, Chairman, I'll go on record that until now, the results have never been published. Until now.
That's your view, not
my information. My instruction from my client are that the results until now have never been published. 34C.
That's a statement you're making.
Instruction from my client, which I'm okay. Let me whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Professor Kulia, yes. My client instructs me that until now, the results have never been published. Are you of the contrary view?
The results have been published in the portal.
I'm saying results.
That's the fact, if you want to know the facts.
When I say the results, Professor, I mean results pursuant to the prescribed format 34C. Again, I'm asking again, have they been published until now?
The results 34C have been published, and it has been printed from the portal, and once the agent signed, they have been scanned and the scanned version uploaded into the system.
When you and the chairman walked out of the boardroom at 4:25 o'clock, I don't know, of 15th of August, had we received the final results of the 27 constituencies? Had we received them?
Yes, we did.
Had they been announced?
I was to announce before the fracas.
Okay, but I'm saying, so they're not been announced?
The results have been received, the results have been tallied, and they were part of the final results. It was only to make it public, but it was already into the Form C.
Under the Constitution, Professor, is there anything wrong with having a dissenting opinion, with disagreeing?
For as long as the dissenting opinion does not offend the law.
That's a contradiction. Have you read the Bill of Rights about having a
You asked me a question, I answered you.
Have you read the Bill of Rights, which gives everyone the right to have their own opinion on anything, on politics?
I didn't read, and I don't need to read now.
We can also read, because we need to...
No, you can read for me since you are a lawyer.
We'll read, just give me the Constitution. Just read Article 32 and 33.
Article 33, freedom...
32 first, and then we go...
32. Freedom of conscience, religion, belief, and opinion. Every person has the right to freedom of conscience, religion, though belief and opinion.
Okay, just under Article 33.
Freedom of expression. Every person has the right to freedom of expression, which includes freedom to seek, receive, or impart information or ideas, freedom of artistic creativity.
Okay, it's fine. So Article 32 and 33 basically give us freedoms of expression, of opinion, and all those are freedoms. When the commissioners told Chebukati that they don't agree, I mean, like basically they're not agreeing with the 3-page results because they need time to go through the 400-page. How can that be a violation of the law? I need to understand.
The commissioners didn't land from the moon.
Yeah.
They were part and parcel of the verification for 6 days. They were involved in the process. They had been announcing constituency results faithfully for 6 days. And therefore, for them to come and say these results are not authentic, I think there's something wrong there.
Kulia, paragraph 32, you told us Mr. Marjan walked into the room with the results, paragraph 32, which is about like 4 o'clock or 4:20, or I don't know, about 4, between 4 and 4:20, with 500 pages, 1 copy of 500 pages, and 7 copies of 3-page document. Here, of course, you are misleading us by saying that he gave each one a copy of the results, but the actual results given as a 3-page document, which you confirmed. But the 500 pages, he has never given
I'm sorry,
anyone.
I'm not misleading anybody.
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, that's what you told us, we were given results. So, I still want to understand that you want commissioners who've just been given a 3-page document to confirm the contents of a 500-page document with no opportunity to do that. They don't have copies. You told us it was not possible to make copies. They don't have copies. They have never gotten copies until now. My client tells me she's never gotten a copy until now. She's never gotten Form 34C in complete format. And you think it is wrong to actually tell the chairman you can't support such results until you've gone through the report? Is it illogical to refuse to accept results when you don't have the 500-page document?
The document that was brought is a summary by county, and it also gives the collected results of each candidate. and the rejected votes.
Maybe let's go to the beginning.
The results, the whole document, which a copy was available, had the entire results. If anybody wanted, they would have used the hard copy that was available to verify any particular polling station or county they wanted.
Professor, are you supporting the removal of Commissioner Massit? Is that what you are?
Why would I?
No, as a witness here.
No, why would I? I was just told to come and give a version of what happened.
Have you read the petitions filed by the 4 petitioners that led to this tribunal?
No, I haven't read.
Do you know them personally? Do you know Dennis Ndubi personally? Have you met him?
No.
Joffrey Langat?
No.
Steve Jerry?
No, I don't know them.
Zachariah Matayo?
Don't know.
So you've not read the petition?
I don't know them, and I don't know their petition.
Okay, let me just tell you a summary. You know, they're saying that Commissioner Irene Massit be removed for gross violation of the Constitution. Gross violation of the Constitution. That's what they're saying. And because there's a legal meaning of the gross violation. And my issue is that you told us the results were brought by Marjan at 420, 500 pages and 3-page document. And my client refused to, your own words, basically did not support the chairman's invitation that they go announce the results immediately. Will such refusal, because you don't have an opportunity to go through a 500-page report, be a gross violation of the Constitution?
That's a matter for this tribunal to determine, not me.
No, you've been telling us about the understanding of the law, Professor. I want you to understand.
No.
Peter led you through and you gave conclusions of the law. I thought you were a professor of the law when you reached conclusions of the law. So now you're saying you don't know about it.
I'm only here to give facts as they happened.
You reached conclusions.
At the boardroom and at the Tally Center.
You told us after the results were announced on 15, you went into hiding.
Correct.
Can you tell us where you were hiding, if you don't have a problem?
Mr. Chair, I think I'll have a problem with that kind of a question, especially knowing the risk they have gone through and the disclosure of where he's hiding, and we don't know what will come after this. I don't have a problem for such a question.
Chairman doesn't even know the entire case is that my clients were in Jaya.
Your question was,
Yeah.
do you want to disclose where you are hiding if you don't have a problem with it?
That is it.
If you don't have a
Yes,
problem,
yes.
that was your question.
Yes, correct, Chairman.
Yes.
I'm not forcing him.
Yes?
I'm not forcing him to disclose.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. I don't know why Peter jumped into whatever. I told him if he doesn't have a problem, he tells us where he was hiding. Can you tell us where you were hiding, Professor?
I can't tell you that.
And I support you, by the way. You just correct position. So the same time you went to hide, my clients also went to hide at Jaya Center, purportedly. But the whole world has been told where they were hiding. Can you see the contradiction in these proceedings? You'll never tell us where you hid, but they've told the whole world where my client was hiding.
Your client went to a public utility facility.
You never told us where
I didn't go to a public place.
That's your word. We don't have CCTVs. They brought CCTVs of my client. We don't have your CCTVs. At the right time, we'll get them. Okay. That's fine. That's fine, Professor. So finally, you're not a witness to the petitioners. I mean, they didn't invite you. They're not the ones who invited you.
I was invited by the tribunal.
Okay. So, Chairman, that's all for now.
Thank you. Re-examination?
Yes, a very, very few questions. Professor, you are taken through Form 34C. I need you to confirm whether it was published, and if it was it ever signed or uploaded in the system? Clarify that issue.
The Form 34C is an auto-generated form. The system generates the form as the verification happens on the floor. Each of the arrows, as I said earlier, comes with the Form A's of all the polling stations in their respective constituencies. And alongside that, they come with a summary, which is Form B of the constituency. When they come with these two documents, they are photocopied immediately they arrive, and a bundle is given to each agent. And in the process, they now go into verifying each polling station by polling station. And once they are doing that, they do it on the system. And once a tick or a click has been done,
Almost 250,000 people die on the road in Africa each year. When you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. Never take your eyes or attention off the road. Keep both hands on the steering wheel at all times and stay focused. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. We all have a role to play in road safety. Together, let's make Africa's roads safer.
National Cancer Institute of Kenya and partners invites you to join us from 2nd to 4th February at the Kasarani Primary School, where screening will be done and the public will be educated on cancer and its associated risks. The National Cancer Summit will be taking place at the same time from 2nd to 3rd at the Safari Park Hotel, where health experts will show and share best practices.
You're going to take your oxtail and then you're going to brown it.
This time last year, Liverpool was on the way to winning 2 trophies, falling short of a quadruple by slim margins, which offers a sharp reminder of how fortunes can change. Mired in a mid-table position, Liverpool is fighting to stay relevant, needing to show its resolve and character amid the biggest test of Jurgen Klopp's time as manager.
Now, before you, after dealing with the issue of the request for moderation, which you say was supported by people, did Commissioner Irene Massit request to verify anything from the hard copy which was with the chair?
Not that I recall.
She did not.
No.
And so that no one asked, let me see the big copy, let me verify anything.
Nobody asked. They all concentrated on the final tally for each of the candidates.
The final tally, which they participated.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Chair and members, that will be all, unless the members or Chair have any questions.
And yours.
Yes, proceed.
How are you, Commissioner?
Good, thanks.
There is this feeling about the printing of the final result that was done by Marjan. Can you be very clear to us? Where is this done? Is it done in the open? Is there a specific room where the CEO goes and prints this result so that we know? Or is it done in the open?
Now, the printing, as I told you, I don't know if you know the landscape of Bomas. When you go in, there is the CEO's, the building that houses the CEO, and there are also some theaters at the bottom, which you are using as call center. Now, the CEO was given an office there. Our CEO was given an office by the CEO of Bomas. And this was where he was using as the operational base to coordinate activities. But the tally center was about a couple of meters down the road in another building. So around 2 o'clock thereabout, we walked, after having verified and entered the last result into the system, we walked from the tally center building back to the boardroom where we were to meet. Now, the building that houses that boardroom is where the office of the CEO is also housed. So we had asked him, as we are meeting the NSAC people, can you go and print the final results, and then you can bring it to the boardroom? So the place where he was building is an office not far from the boardroom.
That was the CEO's office.
At the CEO's office, but he was not alone. I think I remember Director Legal was with him, and there must have been other staff as well.
Then another issue that we need to get an answer to, when all these processes is ongoing, are commissioners able to follow the result, or is it something that comes to you by surprise? I'm asking this for the reason that you say there are elders who came, and as the elders came, you say you didn't know the result. Initially, we used to have what we call provisional result. So even as this meeting was going on, provisionally was any commissioner or anybody else able to know that this is how the result is going, or all the commissioners were in the dark, so they are making arguments in the dark?
We could only know tallies of constituencies, but we could not know the overall tally. As I told you, the system was such that once you click a polling station result, it collects automatically. And so the only final tally will be produced once the final collation was done. And there was no provision for intermediate, preliminary, or in between printing of results.
Less than 27 constituencies, so this system would be able to show you the result. Less than 27, or maybe when you are remaining with 5 constituencies, you can still, if you have access to that system, be able to know that this is where
no one was stopped from going to the tally place to check with our officers who are working there.
Now, let's come to the meeting after the persons you refer to, the elders, have left. I want you to clear the air. Marijan comes with the result. The commissioners are given copies according to you. Did any of the commissioners say this is not the result? Did any of the commissioners at that sitting say these are the figures, this is not the result?
All they said once they saw the final tally was to say this is not acceptable. Nobody said this is not the result.
So can I take it from there that all commissioners accepted the result?
It would appear to me, because the issue of moderation would not have arose if that was contrary, if there was any contrary opinion.
Question number 2, did any of the commissioners say, I need time? Listen to me very well. Did any of the commissioners say, Mr. Chairman or fellow commissioners, I need time to go through this result so that then a decision could be made whether it was necessary to give them time or not to give them time?
I don't recall anybody asking for time. The only place where time was sought was when we were asking agents to come and sign the result. And it's one of the agents who said he wants time, but not the commissioner.
Finally, you have been a commissioner with IBC.
Yes.
And you know the system. Assuming for a minute that the commissioners agreed with the elders to change the result, how could this be done?
I don't know.
Was this information already in the public portal?
We deliberately, as required by law, set up a public portal where the entire results were actually deposited. And for 6 days, we've had the portal being accessed over 38 million times. I think 38 or 380 million times, 380 million times or thereabout.
If I followed the evidence well.
And if it was accessible publicly, there were many entities that had access to the results and could do their own tally. Meaning, therefore, anything short of the correct result IEBC announcing would have been instantaneously challenged with figures and facts.
And if I follow your evidence very well, is that then to achieve this tampering with about 233,000 votes required that you change the result at the polling station. That is from 34A. The only way you are going to achieve a change in 34C is first you have to interfere with 34A.
The suggestion was to move the 233, 211 to rejected votes at the C level.
Which means you have to distribute them.
Well, I have no recollection of how they envisaged it will be done. I don't know how they were proposing. But the suggestion was move these results this candidate has won with to rejected votes, so that there can be a parity, which would mean a runoff.
Thank you very much.
Maybe just a clarification. When you had a meeting with the National Security Advisory Council, led by Mr. Kennedy Kihara, did you feel threatened in any way for their proposal to moderate the results?
Of course, the tone of the message was threatening, because when we were told there are already skirmishes, the fights have begun, if you announce whoever you want to announce or whom we think you are announcing, there will be a bloodbath and the blood of those Kenyans will be on your hands. I mean, it was really obvious that we are being forced to think in a particular direction.
So then, arising from that kind of feeling, was your decision to uphold the fidelity to the Constitution personal, or was it, in any way driven by that threat?
I swore to uphold the Constitution and all the laws of the country. And I swore to God to do that. And my conviction was, I live by my oath of office. And if the process that we all oversaw for the 6 days resulted in a particular result, I was ready to live with that result and defend it.
Thank you.
Prof, mine is clarification on the letter at page 25 that my learned colleague took you through. Just for purposes of consumption by this tribunal, your specific role that is at paragraph 3 was, if I can read, consequently, you're hereby appointed to manage the presidential election resource path. I didn't hear you talk about the path when you were being cross-examined, but could you just tell us what this presidential election results path entails?
Thank you. The result path is what we had published publicly in a Gazette notice number 9540 of 8th of August 2022. And it elaborates the results path at the various levels, starting with the polling station and movements of the results from the polling station to the constituency tally center, and from the constituency tally center to the national tally center, and the movement of results, electronic results from the polling station to the national tally center. So it is as per that Gazette notice.
Thank you. Then on that letter again, and the reason I'm asking is because it was not clear whether you and the CEO were the only two people in charge of the tallying. The subsequent paragraph gives broad terms of reference of the team. Could you just confirm that what those terms of reference were, and whether they were applicable only to you and the CEO? And maybe for disclosure, you could tell us who these team members are.
The team members, we can avail the letter. I've left the commission. I think the CEO can provide the actual letter that is nominating the team members. And there are two teams, one led by Obadiah Keitani, who is the Deputy Commission Secretary, and another team that was led by Dr. Halim Mutisia, who is also another team leading another group. So it was the combination of these teams that were managing the flow, actually. And so ours was mainly to provide that supervision. If there are any challenges, they will bring it to us. And the role that we were playing by being managers is not to make instantaneous decisions on our own, but to take those challenges back to our colleagues, and we were often making quick decisions together in our holding room. And so the challenges that were emanating from the floor was being challenged through me or Marjan as the overseers, but we were now caucusing in our holding room, all of us commissioners, and to deliberate on how to deal with those challenges. So yes, whereas I was at the front face of the tally center floor verification process, but actual decision making was collectively taken in our holding room with all our colleagues.
Thank you, Prof.
Hello, Prof. I would like to know when the four commissioners came in September 2021, or any commissioner who comes on board IEBC, is there kind of an induction of their duties?
Thank you. We have a practice in the commission. Whenever there are new commissioners, there is an elaborate induction program. We went through it in 2017, January, when we reported, and we did the same for our colleagues when they joined us. In fact, we held a specific course which is offered by International Foundation for Electoral System, IFES, and that program is what we all went through together with the new commissioners. And this involved bringing in experts all the way from the US who were with us for an induction program that took us a couple of days. And so after going through that induction program, we also gave them as much information as was necessary in terms of the operations of the commission. We also allowed directors to come and make presentations on the operations of their various directorates. So this was an elaborate induction program which we gave our colleagues.
So each of the commissioners knew their duties?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. The chairman and two of you had been working for some time before the new commissioners came in.
Correct.
Now, when they came in, how did you integrate them to be a team as a whole? Part of it is induction, part of it. How are they feeling? How was the feeling of the whole commission?
We welcomed them into the commission, and they were bona fide commissioners like any of us. We didn't hold back any information from them, and when the chair reconstituted committees, he made sure that none of the old commissioners were together in a committee, and so we were distributed among the committees, and that also enabled them to have further insights into the commission operations, because I was chairing election operations, but I was also sitting in the committee of ICT, and I was equally sitting in the committee of finance and procurement. So we had a harmonious, working relationship as far as I'm concerned.
The 11 months or so, from September to August, the plenary, when you had a plenary, all the discussions for the 11 months or so, you said that it is the discussions were harmonious.
The discussions were civil, I could put it that way, because when you are in a board, you may not have the same idea on issues, and some ideas may be conflicting, but ultimately we make express our ideas in a free manner, and eventually the chair, guides on conclusion of those discussions. So, in my opinion, we have had boardroom discussions that was civil.
Okay, in your civil discussion, just for clarity purposes, was there some sort of groupings that these are 3 and these are 4?
I don't think I would go to that extent, but of course, at some point, we could see the 4 of them, caucusing together. At one point, we had the vice chair who had an office at the 6th floor, and she decided to move up to a different floor. We didn't mind whatever discussions they were having. Probably it was a way of trying to enable them to settle down. But yeah.
Okay, let me go to this moderation. I'm not. When you are discussing about moderation, the moderation when the first group or the second group came to you, and the moderation when you are discussing as commissioners. I'm not getting how you are supposed to be moderating when the results were coming in, and how will you be moderating the other forms, 34A, B? Because I'm looking at you're moderating the 34C on it.
The moderation issue arose. Discussion arose on how the winning candidate and that was the moderation. In other words, it was at the very tail end, the final figure of 233,211. Can it be moved to somewhere like rejected votes in block, and that thus declare there is a parity in the result? Very absurd. We put it on the floor, and we created desks where returning officers were being received. Now, in every desk, we had the IEBC officials, and we had agents of the 4 presidential candidates. And so there was nothing that was hidden from anyone. And we had a whole section of observers. We had dedicated a section of the theater for observers, and observers were freely moving around, and they were seeing the open verification exercise that was going on. In addition, the exercise was 24/7 open to the media, and we had a whole media section where their cameras were directly pointing at the floor.
Okay, the other one is on these appointments. You were appointed on 22nd July as a team lead on election operations with CEO Mr. Marjan. I presume these are the appointment letters for the other commissioners was maybe the same dates.
I think so.
Okay, during this time of 22nd of July to the time of election on 9th of August, did you have any plenary whereby someone can say that you have given me a task which I don't like?
I think the record of plenary is kept by the CEO. Probably he could be asked, but I do not recall us having a formal discussion where anybody is objecting to any appointment that was given to them. In any case, we were told we were all part of the process, and this was merely to give coordination in specific areas, but on the global view of global generation of the results, we would be part of the whole process.
Could it be true that a commissioner could have had serving in 2 committees?
In this particular instance, the Tally Center committees?
Yes.
No, I don't recall.
Mr. Marjan came here over here to say that Commissioner Irene Massit was serving as in the Committee of Security.
Yeah.
And earlier we said that she was also heading the legal. Or was this security only for the election?
Let me explain.
Okay.
We had standing committees of the Commission. These were generated sometime in September of 2021.
Okay.
These are standing committees. It's part of the governance structure of the Commission that we have a management that generates ideas or thoughts. Those ideas or thoughts or discussions of the Secretariat are channeled through respective discipline-based committees. If it is an ICT matter, the Secretariat will channel that ICT issue through the ICT committee. The ICT committee will further interrogate and make recommendations to plenary when the plenary is made. So those are standing committees.
Naam, bila shaka mtazamaji, tunafuatizia vikao hivyo ambapo mwenzangu Lila Mohamed anazidi kukita kambi kule. Atakuwa anazungumza nasi hapo baadaye. Ila kwa sasa tuelekee kule Bonde la Ufa, na mshirikishi wa eneo hilo Bonde la Ufa amezuru maeneo ya Baringo Kusini kuhakikisha ufunguzi wa shule kama alivyoagiza Rais William Ruto siku chache ambazo zimepita. Hata hivyo, kuna baadhi ya shule ambazo hazijafunguliwa kufikia sasa. Ken Ruto anafuatilia taarifa hii kutoka Baringo na atujuze zaidi. Ken, karibu sana kwenye taarifa za NTV ya Dhuhuri. Hebu tufahamishe pengine
the Almighty God that the evidence I will give before this tribunal shall be the truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Mr. Boya, kindly introduce yourself, speak to the mic, and a bit loud, introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Boya Molu.
And you have the statement in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Dated?
Yeah.
Date? It has a date?
Yes, 13th of December,
2022. And you wish that statement to be your primary evidence before this tribunal?
Yes.
Now, there's a big bundle there. At looking at paragraph 4, you say you wish to rely on an affidavit filed in a presidential petition. Paragraph 4 of your statement.
Of
your statement.
Of my statement, yes.
Now, looking at the big bundle written in volume 2, volume 3 rather.
Yes.
Look from page 1 to page 15.
Page 1 to?
Page 15. Top right, it's paginated. 1 all the way to 15.
Yes.
Okay. That is your statement together with the document annexed to it.
Yes.
Look at page 4. That affidavit was sworn on which day? Look at page 4.
Page 4?
It's affidavit rather, not statement. Page 4, it's sworn on which day? Page 4.
I'm not following.
Sworn at Nairobi.
Or I'm using the
Volume 3, the big bundle.
3 volumes. There are 3 volumes here. I don't know which one is volume 3. This is volume 2. Yeah, this is volume 3. Yeah.
So I see the page is not very clear, but you can see it is sworn on which day?
26th day of August 2022.
And you would want those facts to be relied as your evidence before this tribunal?
Yes.
You're aware the issue of the dispute or the presidential election was determined by the Supreme Court?
Yes.
But the matter before the tribunal is different?
Yes, the facts remain the same.
The facts remain the same? Yes. And you're aware which this matter relates to what? The matter before this tribunal?
It's about removal of my former colleague, Commissioner Irene Massit.
Commissioner Irene Massit.
Yes.
I'll very briefly go to different paragraphs. Let's go to paragraph 7.
Paragraph?
7 of your affidavit.
Okay. Yes.
Now, what are you explaining here?
That I wish to add the following written communication by the chair to the commissioner. I hope you are the one, my statement you are referring to is the one dated August 26th.
Yes. You are referring to appointments to different committees.
Yes.
And you were appointed to which one?
I was appointed to, together with the former vice chair,
yes,
to give leadership to media center and call center.
Right, and that's the document at page number 8. The same document, go to page number 8. Page 7, page 8, you have a letter of 22nd of July?
Yes.
Is that the letter of appointment?
Yes.
That was signed by the chairman?
Yes.
Now, are you aware whether Commissioner Irene Massit was appointed to any?
She was, I think, appointed together with Commissioner Wanderi to deal with security and welfare.
Oh, security and welfare.
Yes.
Right, let's go to the next aspect. It's paragraph 9. right? You're talking about the National Tallying Center and its procedure.
Yes.
Right? Now, at the National Tallying Center, when the final results were being declared, Commissioner Irene Massit, was she present?
Yes.
When Chebukati was announcing the final on the 15th of August?
When he was making final announcement, she was not with us. She was part of the team at Serena.
She was part of the team at Serena.
Yes.
And was there an agreement between the Commission for some to be in Serena, some at the National Tallying Center?
Of course not.
Sorry?
No.
So how did it happen they went to Serena?
It happened when we had the meeting with the NSAC team at the Boma CEO's boardroom office. We had a delegation from NSAC. They asked us to ensure that what we are about to do, the announcement of the leading candidate, according to them, should not happen. If it happens, then it will jeopardize the stability of the country. So they asked us to post runoff or declare as the new candidate as the winner. And each one of us was given a chance to comment. 4 of our colleagues agreed with the NSAC that we must.
Commissioner Irene, what was Commissioner Irene Massit's position?
Yes, she was part of the 4 who have supported the NSAC position. Myself and Commissioner Gulier dissented and the chairman. And then after they left, after the NSAC team left, the CEO came in with the results and gave each one of us a copy. And then a debate took place where our 4 colleagues, Commissioner Irene being one of them, said that we need to moderate the results in line with NSAC demands. And chairman said we cannot sit here and discuss a version of the will of the people. And myself and my colleague Kuli agreed with him.
You've been a commissioner for how long?
I have finished my 6 years. And
done your 6 years.
Yes.
So you
I've
are
been here since 2017.
You've gone through the regulations, the act. Is there any provision, to your knowledge, that permits the commissioners to moderate results before the final declaration?
Not at all, because our role is simply to midwife and ensure that the will of the people is put into a statistical format and announced, not to moderate or to vet or to make any decision on it. The decision belongs to the voters and they have done it on 9th of August.
That will be all, Chairman.
I'll just leave him, but let me just ask him 3 questions. When Zach, or it's called what? Zach, the advisory council.
Speak loud a little bit.
I'm saying, sorry. I thought I could. Sorry. When the Security Advisory Council came over, what time was it again?
They came in the morning, but we met them at 2 p.m.
No, the meeting they were saying they want you to moderate the
meeting took place at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yes.
How long did it take?
About an hour.
Not, still 10 minutes, 1 hour.
About an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But this time there are no results, because Gulia told us there were no results at this time.
CEO was printing the final tabulation. The results are being done in such a way that as you finish verifying each and every polling station and constituency, it's cumulative in each.
I understand.
Yes.
But I think at this time when you are meeting NSAC,
yes,
there are no results.
No results before us. We didn't know who the winner is.
So I'm just asking again, so what were you being asked to moderate?
What the NSAC asked us to moderate.
To moderate what results, and there are no results?
Maybe they knew, we don't know, because the results have been on public portal for 6 days.
But at least there are no results as per the law.
To us, there is no results before us.
Yes.
But the portal has been on since 9th of August with a 99.8% transmission success. So any Kenyan, anybody in the world could have added the numbers and they know their results. So possibly, maybe the NSAC knew the results, that's why they're asking us not to announce specific candidates.
This is, but this is Monday. 15 is which day?
15th was on Monday.
But the portal shut down 2-3 days before.
No.
It didn't shut down?
It did not shut down.
Oh, I thought it shut down. I thought there was no live transmission.
No.
Okay.
The portal was for public information, it was on.
Okay, I thought it was shut down.
Even during Supreme Court hearing, all along it has been on.
Okay.
Yes.
And the letter of the 2nd of July, you're being appointed to sit in the media, you with the vice chair,
Yes.
Cherera.
Yes.
These are presidential elections.
Yes.
Marjan, who is basically your employee, is a team leader for tallying and verification of the presidential results.
Alternate team leader.
You were happy with it? You being a commissioner, being told to talk to the media, and then a CEO is being told to run the presidential elections. You okay with that?
I'm very okay with that because no role is more important than the other.
Okay.
The media I was dealing with is the face of myself and the vice chair are the face of the commission, informing the country through the media, the update, giving updates and progress of presidential election, which is of public interest.
Since
we are also running the call center, where the public calls to seek information, where our returning officers call to seek for help where they are stuck somewhere. So it's a very important role that must be given attention at that time.
I agree. Since the 4 commissioners came on board in September, in September 2021.
Yes.
Did you take them out for lunch even once?
Mm-hmm.
You as a commissioner, did you take any of the 4 commissioners out for lunch? Did you buy them lunch? You as Molu?
As myself?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
My information is that you never even met them. You never had lunch. You never shared lunch together. So basically, but you had lunches with the chairman and the Gulier, you can remember? Several lunches, maybe meetings outside the office, social meetings. No, you didn't go out for lunch with Gulier or Chebukati?
I don't remember specifically going for lunch.
All those years, 6 years? 6 years, you never went out for lunch with the chairman?
No, we have been there for 6 years, but you're asking me since the other 4 joined us. From the time when the other 4 joined us, we were too busy with elections. Most of the time, we don't even go for lunch.
So you never went for lunch for 1 year, from September till August, 1 year, never went for lunch with the Gulier, with Chebukati?
More often than not, we spend in the boardroom from Monday to Friday. We eat snacks in boardroom, continue with meetings, sometimes all the way to late in the night.
But
so we did not have the luxury of rushing to hotels and enjoying our lunch.
Bolu, you're not in anniversary towers all the time. You used to go to outside Nairobi checking other parts of the country, surely. There must have been opportunity for you to have lunch with the chairman or with the Gulier or with Ms. Massit. You never got opportunity to eat?
I don't remember any arranged lunch that Papa would say, let's you and me go for lunch.
Admire your aesthetic life at IEBC that is. The chairman, at least we have an organization that doesn't eat lunch. That's all, Mr. Mole. I appreciate it.
That's all?
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. No, not from my end, unless the chair or members have any. Thank you, Mr. Molu. We are grateful that you confirmed. I wish you well.
I can leave now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think at that point we will wish to rest the matter for today. We have 2 more witnesses remaining, and we wish to present them tomorrow morning, and we can proceed tomorrow.
No, I'm good. And I hope, Mr. Chairman, my friend is saying last 2 witnesses, and I hope it's last 2 witnesses. So that we don't keep producing other witnesses. I hope it's the final 2 witnesses.
As a lawyer, your word is your command. Mr. Chairman, my last 2 witnesses, Dr. Reverend Samuel Kobia and Mr. Wafula Chebukati. And I'm aware Mr. Kobia was in Meru. If he doesn't come, I will close my case. And within 24 hours, my submissions will be ready.
You've been answered?
I'm glad.
Thank you.
We adjourn at this point and we resume tomorrow at 9. Thank you very much.